So, welcome back to the Knowledgeable Programmer channel. This is the series where we go through Codecademy's Learn Express course, and we are doing it with my great friend Lloyd. And here we go.
Okay, so matching by HTTP verb, Express matches routes using both path and HTTP method verb. In the diagram to the right, we see a request with a put verb and a / expressions. Remember that the query is not part of the route path. So the path for the first route matches, but the method verb is wrong. So the Express server will continue to the next registered route. This route matches both method and path, and so its callback is called. The necessary update in logic is executed, and the response is sent. So over on this, Will, what's going on here?
Yes, what is going on here is that we are going to match first the HTTP verb, and after we match the HTTP verb, we are going to match later the route or the endpoint. And if the endpoints are correct, but the verb is incorrect, it will fail. It will mark it as incorrect. Or if the verb is correct, but the endpoint is incorrect, it will still fail. So it has to match both things.
Mm-hmm. So creating an expression. So post is the HTTP verb used for creating new resources. Because post routes create new data, their paths do not end with a route parameter, but instead end with a type of resource to be created. For example, to create a new monster, a client would make a post request to /monsters. The client does not know the ID of the monster until it's created and sent back by the server. Therefore, post monsters, which is this, with the route monsters /ID doesn't make any sense because a client couldn't know the unique ID of a monster before it exists. Express uses .post as its method for post requests. Post requests can use many ways of sending data to create new resources, including query strings. The HTTP status code for a newly created resource is 2001. Okay. So let's just get some room going. So it says here, well, create a post / expressions route. It should send, create, and add a new expression to the expressions array if it is a valid new expression, meaning it has an emoji and name key. It should send back the new element with a 201 status code if it is valid, and it should send a 400 status code if the object is not valid. So let me just find where they want this to be written. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, because sometimes when I'm trying to deal with the logic, I'm going to have to sort of do it bit by bit, Well, and obviously because you're coaching me.
Yes.
So I'm just going to set up the first part. So I'm making the route like it's asked me.
Yes. And now the callback.
So I'm going to write the callback function. Okay. So it says here, well, you can use the create element, which takes an element type and the object to create helper function to create a valid expression. The first argument is the type of element, so it should be expressions in this case. The second argument should be the query object with an emoji and a name property. this function will return false if the object to create does not contain all necessary key value pairs, and it will return the newly created element if object to create is valid. It does not add the element, the created element to the array. You'll need to do that yourself. Don't forget to restart your server and test as you implement the functionality. Okay. Okay, so
basically this endpoint will be for the users to be able to add data to our database, or like in this case, our array called expressions. This is how they can send us data.
Okay, so I suppose the first thing I need to do is I need to get a representation of that object. So maybe I could call it created expressions, and that's going to equal the what's coming back on the rec.body.
Exactly.
Or the rec.query.
I think.
Well, no, it's got to be body because it's a post request, right?
Yes. Yeah, created expressions is gonna hopefully have all the data necessary for an expression, like having the emoji, having the name, and yes, that we will use that helper function to pass the element type, which they say are its expressions, and the second parameter should be this new created expressions.
So I need to create the element. So it says there the element type, and it gives me this for free. And I'm assuming then the object is this one that's coming back from the rec.body. Okay, so let me just have a think about it. So
maybe we can pass, instead of created expression, pass like an object and spread the created expressions. That way we'll know it's an object per se, and we'll have the
that doesn't make any sense.
No, in the create element, pass an object and spread the created expressions inside of it.
All right, okay. So inside the helper function.
Yes.
So inside this.
Yes, like put the curly braces.
Yeah.
And spread it.
All right.
Like that. Yeah.
And then console.log this function.
Let's try to assume that it's gonna work. So let's save a variable for a create element.
Right.
You would have to name it something else, because it's gonna be a naming conflict with the function. It's exactly the same name.
Oh yeah.
So create, maybe add the D, created element.
Yeah, created element.
And we would have to do res.send and send the created element.
Yeah. Okay, so well, it says here though that it said it should send back the new element with a 201 status code if it is valid. So I think it's asking me to do something like this. If this, then res.status.
Yeah.
201 dot send this. And if that's not true, then res dot status, what is it, 400?
400, and the
And
message should be object is not valid.
oh, it's not valid. Okay, so let's run it and see if we get some errors. Node app. Okay, so now I'm getting Node app. Okay, so we can't spread it. Yeah.
So let's assume that the object is valid with created expressions by itself. So let's remove the object and the spread and just pass created and test it out now.
So I'm going to have to keep stopping and starting the server. Check work. So the test failed. Okay, it's not giving us any meaning. Well,
meaningful error, you know.
Oh, okay, so
no.
now
Let's check what it says.
So let me pull this thing down. So type error, cannot read property of undefined created element.
We should check what they are saying, because it says we should pass expressions as the first. What do they say as the second?
Right. So it says you can use the create element type, object to create, helper function to create a valid expression. The first argument is the type of element, so it should be expressions. So that's what I've passed.
But it said, look at what it says. The second argument should be the query object.
Oh, rec dot query. But what's the difference between this and this? There is no difference.
Well, it is a difference, because if you pass the values from the front end and you send them as query strings, it will not be in the body. It will be in its own object. So
yeah. Okay.
So let's try it out.
Right. So let's give that a spin. Man, I feel a bit dumb because I did think in the beginning.
Yeah, you did say it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So not dumb, just we were testing things out. That's totally fine in development.
Okay, so now we actually get some proper errors. Did you add the object? No, we didn't, because it's telling us that we need to push. It says somewhere, so I don't need to see that console log anymore.
And now you should pass created expressions to the function create element.
Okay. Well, if we get to this case, then we can take the expressions array and dot push the created element.
You would have to do that first before the rest.status.send, because the rest.status.send is kind of like a return in normal JavaScript. So,
wow, I didn't know that. Okay. So let me restart. Your post route should send back a 400 response on the request that causes create element to return false.
So what are we sending? It is 400.
Now, the only thing with Codecademy is this code might be right, but their checks are so strict. Like,
yes.
Yeah. So, for example, like if this has a different variable name, in their database, this code will fail.
Yeah, that's due to the nature of how testing works. It's very explicit. So if this doesn't we cannot find any mistakes, maybe we should check the hint first and see what they are suggesting. You see that they are passing an object with name and emoji, which we are doing as well with created element, created expressions.
So if it exists, we take the original array and we push onto it this.
Yeah.
We send back a status code of 201 and we send back the created element. And if that's not true, we send back a 400. Okay, yeah.
So let's try to see if we can get some errors and to see what is a hint of what we may be doing wrong.
Node app.js. Let's click check. So your post route should send back a 400 response on the response that causes create element to return.
Have you named the response in the else, or have you put requests? No, you have it correctly.
It's not even allowing me to make a post. Like, I can't type in there. Oh, now I can. Oh, of course, there's no ID because it says in the beginning that you can't know the ID beforehand. So now I could put knowledgeable programmer. Well, if I send this now, we should definitely get something in the thing. Okay, so now if I go to the ID of 4, probably just make this a bit bigger. So I just need the route. So where's the post route?
It's just expressions.
Okay.
And you can pass the ID afterward. Expressions /4. Just get all the expressions like that.
And it's on there, look.
Yes. The only thing is that they're saying that we may not be handling the bad expression correctly.
Well, we know it's working anyway, so
yeah.
If it does fail, it's got to be a syntax problem.
Yeah.
Naming convention.
Yeah, so let's check what they are suggesting to see if it's only like a strict test.
So they're calling theirs received expression.
But basically, line 40, 41, and 42, it's just as ours.
Yeah. The only thing that they are doing different is they're not creating the object.
Yes, they're not creating the object. So let's just send rec.query then.
My code. Okay, so I'll just comment this out. I'll just put rec.query. And I'm going to have to restart. Okay, so now it's working. Yeah. Yeah. To be honest, well, both ways are identical.
They are like, if we send requested query and if we set created expression, requested query it's still an object with emoji and name as its keys. So it's just a matter of a strict test that wasn't letting us pass because they were expecting that query to be passed, not anything else.
Yeah.
But we showed that it did work. It's just that the test was not written in a way that it could accept multiple alternative answers.
Mm. Mm.
So here we have to wrap it up here. We will continue this series, so stay tuned for some notifications about continuing this course, and please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.